Hello and welcome back. My name's Charlambos and I'm not your typical painter. Today I'm going to continue working on the painting I've been working on for the past month, maybe a few weeks actually. And I'm going to focus today on the top mountain area. One important thing I want to point out about it is there's a lot of interesting little details in there that people don't notice right away, but there's actually like roads and so on, and there's also a city that's in here, and it's something I'm gonna actually try to detail, because again, like I said before, this is a real place, and I kind of want to be as accurate as possible. The way I'm gonna attack this is I'm gonna start off by making a nice batch of color. Pretty much from that, I'm going to be mixing little variations of it, but I'm going to start with like a solid base. Pretty much that's going to expand to other colors. As you can see, I laid out some groundwork here, but there's going to be more work that's going to be done. And this is my basic layout for the mountains I'm going to do. I'm heavy on primary colors. Mostly I'm going to be with white. Why? Because it's very muted in the backdrop. And in order to show distance, you have to use a lot of white because it will mute the colors. One of the first things I usually do, well, to be honest, I already made a batch of black, but I'm just going to do it for entertaining purposes or educational. I love to mix Viridian and Alizarin Crimson together to make a nice black. This is very tricky. You kind of, depending if you want it to be more warmer or cooler, you want to use more of Alizarin Crimson for the warmth, more Viridian for the cool. And in this scenario, I'm going to start off by using a decent batch. You always want to shuffle the paint around. And how do I know if I received or not received? How would I know if I got the desired color? Well, it's kind of easy. You kind of move it a little and see the thinness of it and see if it looks good. And actually I like it because I'm going for more of a cooler tone. I never use black. I've been told by many people in school and in life that punches a hole in your canvas. If anyone could spot any black in any of my paintings, they are wrong. I move my black to the side, and now I'm going to mix my mountain color. And this is where I might have to grab more paint. I'm aiming for kind of like a grayish, kind of bluish tone, so I'm going to use pretty much a little cerulean first of all. And this cerulean is way too bright. I'm going to keep mixing it. There's a good chance I shouldn't have used it too, because that was an old batch of cerulean. Sometimes when paint's a little old, it gets a little chunky. I think it'll be fine though. Again, you always want to mix and mix and mix. And I'm very conservative with my paints because I know how much it costs. I sometimes use knives to try to get as much of it as possible, like 2 knives. And now I am going to add a little of that black, small amount of it, and see if it gives me the desired look I want. and kind of compare the color with my knife to the monitor, and it looks like I made a good batch, but I need more than this because the area I'm going to paint is big. Alright, now I'm going to make more of the same color, but just so I could have like another variation of it, I'm going to put this nice chunk to the side. I'm going to use the rest of my white that I have on the sideline and grab some more cerulean blue that I grabbed off camera. Again, this is too bright, but it's pretty much like going to be a base color. And one thing I noticed about the background is there's some warmth in some of the areas, and in order to get that warmth, believe it or not, I'm going to add a little orange. And the interesting thing about orange is it's a complementary color to blue, and it's muting the color. And this is kind of like what I need to hit some warmer areas in the background. Like the previous time, I had to keep mixing, scooping, and I use my knife again, my second knife, to scrape this is something I'm guessing a lot of beginning artists don't think of. I myself was one of them. Is the financials that go into a painting. If you're dealing with cheap paint, that's one thing, but when you're dealing with expensive stuff, you want to be very economic. And as you see, now I arranged my paint, darker tone, warmer tone, or cooler, should I say, warmer of the backdrop. I have my dark here, and as I paint, I modify these a little bit at a time. I'll like probably pull some here, apply it to the canvas. But in the end, I always start with a nice big batch that's very close to the color I'm aiming for. Make modifications if I need to. I mix more of the color. But this is how I prepare. I look at the area I'm going to work on. If I need a big batch, I'll make a big batch, and then I start to paint. As I paint, one of the things I try to think of is carving like a statue, but instead of carving a statue, I'm carving like the mountains. So I use like the darks and the whites to kind of like knife in there and paint and start forming the cliffs, the roads, and the jagged edges, and then try to establish some kind of like pattern to get like the bushes, the trees, and so on. But it's a consistent kind of like momentum thing. It's hard to explain, but as you paint, you get this momentum and start getting like this little pattern, and you kind of like get this repetition, and you start, instead of just doing one tree, you do a million trees, because there are probably, well, maybe not a million trees, but there's a lot of trees back there. And from the previous way my painting looked, it was more colorful like in the back, but now it's more muted, and I don't mind that because in the end these mountains are in the distance and I want them to be pushed into the back,
and I can't do that with the current color I had, which was like some of the greens. In the end, I'm going to establish more of a feel of distance where I'm going to mute some of more colors in the back. And I'm probably going to keep the city that's over in the front more vibrant looking, just give a sense of depth. And thank you again for watching. Again, my name is Charles. I go by Bob. And I am not your typical painter. Stay tuned for more.